we're in this social media era where information flow happens unbelievably quickly. Social media can fuel a bank run, and everybody's scrambling to try to get the accurate story. But what we also saw was the Fed stepping in really, really quickly, and that's another important distinction relative to 2008 in a good way. And when you looked at the take up in terms of loans from the Fed, that came out yesterday at almost $320 billion, that suggests that the programs are working. That's not necessarily a sort of a shiny penny story because it means that there are liquidity and funding issues. But I also think that this is part and parcel of a broader issue of the end of the era of easy money and the implications that that has, not just for the banking industry, but for startups, for less well capitalized companies. You're seeing it in layoff announcements, companies that might have to access credit again. And I think this story is just starting to unfold, but clearly the concentration this week has been on the banking side of things.
Yeah, and listen, just quickly sticking with the banking side of it, I think there also is just some of that risk out there, some of that worry, I should say, about the contagion, what that could look like if more banks could fail. Do you think we could see some as a result of the shift that we're seeing just in terms of the money, the liquidity, and that picture that still is true today?
I think the contagion seems to be a bit more on the psychological front than something systemic like during the global financial crisis. And that certainly can feed on itself, but it's also where regulatory bodies and Federal Reserve, as in part a regulatory body, can step in and hopefully try to calm nerves. I think what's adding to the grave uncertainty right now is not just contagion in the banking system, but what's the Fed going to do on Wednesday? And talk about a complicated sort of wrinkle getting thrown into this in advance of the Wednesday finale of the Fed meeting. And so expectations around what the Fed is going to do, terminal rate, when rate cuts would kick in, have been all over the place this year, and that I think has been additionally unsettling for markets.